Hello and welcome back to the Beantown Phoenix. This is Archer Gaming, and this is our OOTP25 series where we try to take the Boston Red Sox to a World Series. Last episode, we sort of went through our assessment of the team, talking about some of the regression that we expect, talking about where we expect some of that regression to be, talking about what kinds of things we think we may need to strengthen the team in. This episode, we're going to try and accomplish some of those things as the offseason starts. We also went through our player development a little bit. So in this development lab, we sort of set up some basic stuff. I did have some really good feedback about what some of these actually are, because apparently I had forgotten. But the game also doesn't make it super clear, I think, on purpose. So we are going to take another look at Marcelo Mayer. Um, One person suggested that we try to get his range up a little bit. I'm kind of slightly partial to that. Um, but in the discussion that we had, we did talk about how he actually, I need to go back to his fielding stats for this. He did put up a really big zone rating, and he did so at Portland, and then he also did it at the MLB level. He also had a good range rating basically everywhere he went. And so it's kind of hard to parse whether that's something where we want to push him into being truly, truly elite, or if we want to get some of his bat flaws going a little bit sooner. I've thought about it a little bit. I think we are going to stick with trying to get his plate discipline up. And then we can try to improve a little bit more after that if we have to. Um, but otherwise, I think I'm pretty happy with all of these. We're going to get Brian Bello to try and work on his secondaries, maybe get his stuff up a little bit. Roman Anthony, we're going to have him try to find some more power. Kyle Teal, we're going to have him try to not strike out so much. Tristan Cassis, improve his plate discipline. Devers, we're going to try and keep him desperately at third base so we don't have to move him to first yet. Grissom and Abreu, we're both going to have them try to find a little bit more power. So as we go into the off season, we do have the international amateurs. Let me customize this filter. We're just going to look at people who are at least 3 stars. It's not that many, unfortunately. Um, we've got this really good right fielder who looks like he might be able to stick in left. Maybe. We'll see. We've got this catcher who can just about catch, probably. And then we've got this left fielder who actually can kind of field, but his hitting isn't as great. Again, a huge power kind of bat that doesn't look great with defense in Sergio Oliveira. Julio Espinoza, he actually looks pretty decent as a left field prospect. We've got Arturo Vargas, who can actually play defense and who has pretty good hitting. He's fairly developed, but he is also 18. So if we take a look at him and compare him to the Dominican Rookie League, you can see he would already be pretty good. But that's to be expected because he's a little bit older than some of these other prospects. Let's see. We also have Luis Avina, who looks okay. Nothing sort of stand out. And Julio Vicencio, who again just sort of looks fine and definitely is a step down from everyone else. I'm going to go ahead and just invite all of these to our training so we learn a little bit more about them. And then just because there's nobody else that I would really see as benefiting from this, I'm just going to ask my scout to add a couple people on. Oh, I had been filtering by all batters. Okay, never mind. Maybe there is somebody. Okay, well, he basically added everybody I would want, so fair enough. Let's take a look at him. Uh, there could be a starter in there, but more than likely that feels like a reliever to me. Especially when we look at what's already developed. I don't know. I could see it. I could see it, but I don't think it's a great starter. This looks like a pretty decent reliever. So who knows? We'll just sort of let that go as we move on, and we'll kind of try to see which one of these maybe rise up our rankings, which one of them fall, and what's the best combination of them that we can acquire. Let's head on over to salary arbitration. That's usually the next thing I like to do in the off season. If we go down here, we can see our pending free agents who could get the qualifying offer. So Kinley Jansen, I think, is our best candidate for that, probably. Um, he's really good. He's also 37. We don't really have anyone who can replace him like for like, so that certainly makes you think about it. Pavetta was awful last year. I'm inclined to let somebody else deal with him. Even though, man, I know that his like Sierra was really good and his FIP was like fine. Either way, I don't think a 31-year-old is worth 19 million a year just to be okay. If we think Kinley is going to be elite, I think that we could conscience having him on for one more year. And like I said, if we take a look at our bullpen, next guy up would be Julian Merriweather. I think he's good. I don't think he's Kenley Jansen. Um, so again, we've got like some guys in here, but like Kenley Jansen is a dude, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna lean that way. I'm not gonna make that decision just yet because we haven't taken a look at what trades might be available. But I think that's something worth considering. As far as arbitration goes, um, I would love to try and offer a long-term extension to Jesus Luzardo. He's 27. I'm generally comfortable going to about 32 with our starters. Um, let's see. So it seems like he might. Um, Interesting. So 12, 17, 21, 20. I guess actually I could go 6 years because that would be his age 32 season. That's not a bad contract, to be honest. And I feel like we have the room for it to a degree. Yeah, I mean, we have the money for extensions. For a 27-year-old who is really very good, um, he will struggle with righties a bit. But that may be something that we can help um, over time. Yeah, I think this is just a good way to do it. I think this is just smart business because I think it's slightly under market for what he would need long term, and ultimately, I don't think we're giving up that much more over arbitration. So I like that. Let's try and get that done. Hopefully, that'll give us a boost to our fan interest as well. As far as these other guys, Sandoval, I think he's worth keeping around. Um, Yeah, I think he's worth keeping around. We'll see if he's as good as he was last year, but I definitely think he's fine. I don't think he's somebody I'm looking to do a long-term deal with, so I think we'll just sort of file and trial with him. Tanner Houck, he was god awful last year, um, and frankly, I think I would like to move him to the bullpen, but I don't know. Yeah, with that command, I just don't see him being a starter, so. Um, I'm okay with that arbitration number, but I'm not going to count him among our starters, that's for sure. Cutter Crawford, um, I think he's very replaceable personally, but I'd prefer to trade him away than just like give him away. Uh, Lutke, I will just give away. I don't feel the need to have him. Julian Merriweather, again, I think we'll just keep him around. Reese McGuire, I think it's fine to keep him. Bobby Dahlbeck. I mean, he was remarkably fine in his stint with us. Ultimately, I just don't think he's very good, and I would prefer to have other people on the roster. Jaron Duran, obviously, we want to keep. The way he played lends me to think that maybe we want to do a long-term extension. He is already 28 though, and like he'll only be arbitration eligible for the first time next season at 28. So he'll be 30 in his last year of arbitration. I actually just don't think we need to sign an extension with him. Like he's not the star of stars, you know? Like he's very good, but he's not somebody that I think we absolutely have to have all the way through like 37, right? Um and then as far as our minor leaguers go, generally what I do is I just offer them an extension if they had positive uh WAR in the minors and they're open to a minor league extension. So we'll just go ahead and get that done. Okay, and with that sorted, let's go ahead and get through to the most valuable player awards. Um, Based on the WAR at the bottom, I have some guesses. Okay. Oh yeah, great. Jesus Luzardo stays. Perfect. Fans like that. Um, I also like about Luzardo, I didn't really mention this, but because the thing he struggles against are righties, and he's not bad against them, um, I'm kind of just like not that worried about him in Fenway for some reason. I feel like I should be, but like I just think it's going to be like a lot of doubles off the wall, and that's not going to be that big of a deal. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it should be the other way around, and I'm thinking about it backwards. But I'm almost more worried about um, lefties. Let's take a look at Esturi Ruiz for no. Get out of here. um, yeah, as we go on into award season, seems like Jordan Walker and Aaron Judge are probably going to be your MVPs. I need to add that on here. They want to send us Matt Cronin. Why would I ever want Matt Cronin? Please leave my site. Okay. All right. Well, let's take a look at the awards then. Acuna does win the MVP in the NL, which is interesting. Jordan Walker, you would think, would get a lot more votes, given that he led the league in WAR, but guess not. I mean, Acuna did hit like 350, so that's something, but he also didn't play like a full season. So sometimes voters hold that against you, sometimes not. Corbin Carroll comes second. Mookie Betts comes third. No big surprises there. Aaron Judge does win the MVP in the American League. Royce Lewis comes second. Julio Rodriguez comes third. Let's take a look at the Cy Youngs. We've got Eduardo Rodriguez. That's not who you may have expected to see. Spencer Strider is going to be second, and Zach Allen will be third. And then in the AL, Logan Gilbert, Framber Valdez, Luis Castillo, and we don't have anybody anywhere near the top. Do we have anybody anywhere near the top in? Oh yeah, we have Devers up there. Okay, well that's something at least. Let's take a look at. Obviously, we didn't win Best Manager, although it kind of feels a little bit deserved, but whatever. Noelvi Marte won the NL MVP. The AL MVP was Evan Carter. That's White Langford close behind. Let's see if we get anybody in these, but first we'll take a look at the NL Silver Sluggers. Nobody really that interesting. I mean, Matt McLean is a little bit interesting there. And let's see. Oof. Yeah, we didn't get anybody. And the Yankees got two guys. So that hurts my feelings a little bit. Um, Feel free to pause if you really want to look through any of these. Evan Phillips, Josh Hader, Kenley Jansen was up there. Let's see. Gold gloves. Yeah, nobody that unexpected there. And unsurprisingly, we didn't get it. Juan Soto won a gold glove? Okay, well, sure, why not? Yeah, why wouldn't he? That makes total sense. All right. Well, that was a little bit of awards fun, but we will move on. And the place that I like to get to is salary arbitration hearings. Now, the reason I want to get all the way up to here, oh my God, they really want to give us Asturi Ruiz. He's not in any way good. Like, I don't know why they think we would want him. That's insane to me. All right, off to salary arbitration we go. The reason I want to get here is because we can make our final decisions on the qualifying offer. My guy, it's not going to happen. Okay, we can make our final decision on the qualifying offer, and we also get to see how these shake out, and that'll give us a better idea of what kind of money we're playing with for the whole off season. So we've got 61 million available. Not all of that is going to be payroll, but a lot of it probably will be. Um, actually, let's see. I mean, we're pouring. I mean, let's go ahead and get our 5 million there, and then in scouting, we're already spending a lot on scouting, so a lot of it will be actually payroll. So we have a good amount to work with. Now, our owner does want us to extend Kenley Jansen, and I am taken to want to have him a little bit happy. Um, so I'm leaning towards spending 19 million of that on an extension. What would he want if I just sort of offered him an extension? Ugh, gross. Um, I mean, can I get him for like 1 year 15? 1 year 16? Okay, well, that didn't go well. Um, let's take a look at who is going to be on the closer market. We have our top free agents here. Um, I'm not seeing one. Yeah. It's worrying that the top guy is Kenley Jansen. He's like a third of the way down. I mean, we could always trade. We could always trade for one. So that's a way to go. Um, let's see. Oh, hello. Take a look at you later. But yeah, I'm just not loving my options there. So I think we probably do just submit the qualifying offer for him. Um, yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Okay. Crawford got what we offered him. Duran got slightly more. Kenley accepts. Meriwether gets what he wanted. Sandoval got a little bit more. Reese McGuire. Okay. So that should give us a bit of a firmer idea of where we're sitting. So we've got 50 million to spend. Um, now there are many places we could spend it. Let's take a look at the international free agents and take a look and see if any of them might be commanding some of our money. Hello. Um, high leader, high work ethic. Probably not a starter. Um, yeah, doesn't look like a starter really. Um, might be though. You never know. Hello, hello. Well, if we knew about him, we probably wouldn't have offered Kenley Jensen the qualifying offer. Yoshiaki Okamoto, that could be a cheaper option. Let's see, let's see. I mean, interesting, but not that good. Really only want to pay attention to the really good ones, in my opinion. Jesus Espinoza is really good, um, with the potential to get better. So, um, he's 26. What if we have him until he's 33? where the velocity will really start to decline. Um, so that would be a 7-year deal. Um, okay, well, obviously that's not going to work. um, he wants an AAV of 12. So I wonder if he'll just take like 14, 13, 12, 12, 12, 11, 10. Okay, worth a shot. So that should help our bullpen out significantly, which should help our pitching out in general. Now, in the first year of a save in OOTP 25, if you have money, you have a big decision to make. And that is because Juan Soto is available. So, here's the thing. Juan Soto's defense will age horribly. It just will. You have to just accept that, okay? His offense will be stellar. He's likely to become injury prone. That's just sort of, these are all of the things that are true about Juan Soto. He is a bit of a fly ball hitter, um, and he's a lefty. So if we go into our park settings, left-handers get a boost for average. They get slightly dinged for home runs, but overall, it's pretty good for them. Do we think that Juan Soto is what this team needs? Now, probably depth chart is the best way to look at this. For the first year or so, he will slot in somewhere in the outfield, probably. So we're talking probably maybe Wilyer Abreu moves to center sort of deal. Or not Wilyer, but would Jaron Duran be able to play there? Yeah, we're talking like Jaron Duran slides to center, Ceddanne Rafaela becomes a backup, Masataka Yoshida we try to trade, um, or he's still the DH, and then left field is Juan Soto. That feels very appealing. The problem with that is if we look at our minor leaguers, Roman Anthony's going to be up pretty soon, like next year soon. And he's not better than Juan Soto, obviously, but he's really good. So do we want to block Roman Anthony for the price of roughly, it's probably going to get up to like I would guess around 47 million a year, because he's right now he wants 36, but there will be a bit more. I'm not sure that that's the best course of action, honestly. Like the win now in me just wants to snap, like offer him a contract, get him in, don't ask questions. Um, I mean, hey, he won a Gold Glove last year. Uh, but I don't know. It is really appealing though. I mean, we're talking about a guy who could probably hit like 290, 420, 550. Like that's a really good player to have in your lineup. And we're not going to mind DHing him. It's tough. I think maybe we just sort of heat check his market as we go, is how I want to think about it. If we look at the other players available, Wilmer Flores is available as a bat. Not particularly in love with him. We don't really need a shortstop, so Adames isn't really that interesting. Really, where we would be looking is the pitching side of things, where Shane Bieber is. Bieber is really good. I don't think that he is like in OOTP 25, I usually like to have like one starter who is just like 5 stars, goes out there, leads your rotation. I don't think Shane Bieber is that. I just don't think the stuff is good enough to be that. And I don't think it'll age particularly well, just because he doesn't have a lot of stuff to lose. Snell is kind of the opposite, but with his command issues, eh. Um, we'll see. Um, so in that case, I think what we may want to do is look at the trade block and see if there's anybody interesting here. Uh, man, I wish there was. um, let's see if we can look at just like some of the worst teams, and see if there's anybody that we could pry off of them. And as discussed, I'd like another starter. I really would. Maybe two. And in our lineup, let's just go ahead and look at batting stats. Um, I'd like to get rid of Trevor Story. I'd like to get rid of Masataka, or at least like safeguard myself in case he comes back to Earth. Um, and at one of these positions, I'd like a big upgrade. So good luck in a way. The Royals have at least one bat I'd be interested in. Um, but I doubt they're going to trade me Bobby Witt Jr. That would be pretty silly of them. Um, the Athletics, I doubt have anybody I would care about. Yeah, just not really. I mean, Mason Miller, uh, yeah, he's just a reliever, isn't he? I mean, he is in real life too, so that makes sense. Um, the Angels, obviously Mike Trout is there, but God, he's so expensive and so fragile. Um, RIP Mike Trout in real life, just tore his meniscus. You just feel for the guy. Yeah, obviously they don't have a pitcher we want, because we took the one that we wanted in Sandoval. White Sox, um, yeah, I just don't really see anybody here that I want. I mean, there is the Luis Robert conversation. So, Robert has a contract that's only going to get more expensive. He's stuck on a terrible White Sox team. He plays great defense. He's probably going to be a good bat. Um, he's under team control and kind of affordable. I kind of like that. And I love my center fielders to have great defense. So let's just sort of put a pin in Luis Robert and think about maybe trying to go after him. Um, None of their other players, I think they would be either willing to trade or would be helpful to me. Blue Jays probably wouldn't trade with us, but if they did, I surely would love to get a hold of some of their young bats. Um, yeah, I just don't think they would trade with us. I think they fancy themselves as better than they were last year. Riley Green is probably too young to be traded. You could probably say that about the whole team, honestly, other than Javi Baez, who I definitely do not want. Um, I just doubt they would want to give up Scooble. That doesn't mean I don't want him, but I doubt they would give him up. Um, and then you're sort of into like decent teams. Let's go to an NL team. The Rockies, again, like I don't think they really have anything to offer us. They certainly don't have any pitchers to offer us. The Nationals, um, yeah, I mean, just not a lot there. Um, wow, Strasburg came back and played in this playthrough. That's really interesting. Yeah, the Nationals just don't have anything for us. Logan Webb is potentially interesting, but again, I think he has sort of a Shane Bieber issue. Kyle Harrison is too young. Robbie Ray, I'm worried about his contract. Keaton Wynn, I think, is really good in real life, as I think I've said before, but I don't think that matters for us too much. Jung-Hoo Lee, I would rather just go after Luis Robert if I'm going to go after somebody like that. The Phillies were surprisingly bad last year, but I think they're just in sort of perpetual win now. The Brewers were bad, and I could see them trading some guys. They might have some guys that I would want to trade for. Yelich is probably not one of them. Oh, Garrett Mitchell ended up pretty good here. So did Joey Weimer. That's interesting. Um, I mean, obviously, I would love Jackson Chourio, but there's no possible way I could trade for him. Woodruff was bad last year. He's very good though, in a sort of abstract sense. In real life, obviously, he has injury issues that are difficult to parse, but in this, maybe not so much. Freddie Peralta, I want to. I don't know if I can, but I want to. I'll think about it. I don't think they would move off of DL Hall or Gasser. Those are sort of their next guys up. Um, we'll just sort of put like a little in the back of our mind with Woodruff, I think. The Cardinals should trade some folks, but I don't know if they would trade some folks. Um, do we go back to the Cardinals well after Tyler O'Neill didn't work out last year? I don't really want Sonny Gray, just sort of older than I would want to bet on. None of their other guys really appeal to me. I mean, Helsley does, but again, I'm bringing in a reliever on a free agent deal, I hope. The Pirates are on the way up, theoretically, so I don't think they should want to be trading anybody. They might feel good enough about their pitching to give me Mitch Keller. It's possible. Um, I don't think so, but they might. Do I want him? Not particularly, I guess. Brian Reynolds, again, not quite of the caliber that would make me want to go after him. Um, Brian Hayes, sort of the same thing. So yeah, I think it really is just sort of we've got two options in terms of big trades. One of the Brewers pitchers, and then Luis Robert. Luis Robert, I think, reads as a bit of a luxury for me. It'd be great if we could have him, but I don't think we need him. Woodruff, um, he has a team option for 20 mil next year. And Peralta is, I think, under more team control. Yeah, much more affordable. So I would probably go after Peralta first. But he's going to be expensive. He's our top choice, though. So let's think about what we could do. Now, unfortunately, our prospects are running a little bit dry. So that's not ideal. Um, Yoelin Cespedes. I mean, let's just throw guys in there and see what they'll do. Yeah, they're just gonna want Marcelo Meyer. That's not surprising. I would want Marcelo Meyer, and I have him. I wonder if they would do something like, um, just sort of thinking out loud. Let's say they want a bat, right? And we're like, well, what's a bat we could give up? We could give up Cedano Rafaela plus, and then try to go get Luis Robert. It's a little bit kind of interdependent in a way that I'm not fully comfortable with, but we'll have to see how close we can get. Okay, well now you want Luzardo or Meyer. That's great. Wilkelman Gonzalez, I think, is probably our best. Aha! Grissom. I wonder if I add Grissom and then I get rid of Cedano Rafaela. Ah, now we're talking. Okay. Um, Jorge Trevino. Oh, I could also give you Corey Rosier. Corey Rosier, now minus Von Grissom. Okay, so Von Grissom is important to the deal. But what if he wasn't? um, let's see. Edinson Paulinho doesn't add anything. Is it Paulino or Paulinho? I never really figured that out. Richard Fitz is not adding anything. Man, this is really frustrating because I feel like there's a guy and I just don't know which guy it's going to be. So I'm just going to have to like plug and play. Antonio Anderson. I should, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. All right, well, let's just add, let's add Von Grissom back in. And who were the people that would make it work? Okay. So Rozier you like. You like Giovanni Gallegos. That's interesting. You also like Brennan Bernardino. Okay. You like Hauk. I'd like to hang on to Hauk. I think he could be good in the bullpen. Let's see how much they like Trevino. So let's add Trevino, and then let's add Rozier. Okay. So they didn't like Trevino that much. Um, they seemed to like Brennan Bernardino some amount, but clearly not enough to get the deal done. Giovanni Gallegos? How much do you like him? Okay, well, it just doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get a deal done without Von Grissom. So let's see what the minimum is that we can give up. Looks like it's Jose Trevino. And then let's take... Oh, Yoel Cespedes didn't do anything. Wilkerman Gonzalez did. But is there someone worse that I would rather give you? Um... No? Question mark? Well, actually, Brennan Bernardino I don't really care about that much. So, okay. So this is going to be our package to them. They get a young shortstop who didn't hit great last year, but hit enough and was worth like around 2 WAR. That's a pretty good get for them, I would say. Um, they get a solid back end reliever, which they always like getting back, and then they get a really young right field prospect who, if we're being honest, nobody knows how good he is, but he's a bit of a flyer. Is that enough for a year and a half of Freddie Peralta or 2 years? Maybe it wouldn't be for me, but it is for Matt Arnold. So let's go ahead and get that going. Fans like it. I like it. And then let's head on over to the White Sox and see what we can do with them. This is going to be more painful, I have to imagine. This is going to be bad. I mean, he does have a big contract, so like, who knows, maybe. But I don't imagine it's going to be pretty. I would be pretty shocked if we got out of here without giving up Teal, but we'll see. All right. Wilkerman Gonzalez. Let's add Yoelin Cespedes. See where that gets us to. Oh, man. I knew they were going to offer that. Oh, man. I mean, he's better than Willie Abreu. Like, that's obvious. And we think Abreu is going to regress pretty hard, right? Because what was his BABIP last year? Oh no, he's one of the ones that we don't think is going to regress that bad. Oh man. And Luis Robert Jr. is 27. We have him for 3 years. 3 years at a price, but like 3 pretty peak years. Let's try to add a little bit more and see if we can. Corey Rozier was valued in the last trade. Maybe that'll help. I don't think that did anything except add players that I wouldn't want to trade. Cespedes I don't think is really getting us anywhere. Let's add Paulino. Oh, they really just want Willie Abreu. They really just want Willie Abreu. Um, okay, let's think about this. So Kyle Teal, very good hitter. Am I gonna let him play catcher? If not, he's a decent outfielder. And he's a good bat, but he's not a great bat for the outfield. He's a great bat at catcher. He has high leadership. That's always nice. His framing right now is slightly above average. I would need it to be well above average. Do we think we can get him there over time? Oh man, I kind of think we do. I kind of think we could. Oh man, I would almost rather give up Jaron Duran, which I think is an insane thing to say. But at the end of the day, Luis Robert is better than Wilyer Abreu for whatever like money considerations I'm making in my head. So let's just make that happen, and we'll toss in Manuel Valdez to make it worth their while. That's a big old trade though, because that is a legit starter prospect, a decent throw-in second baseman who has hit at the major league level, and a guy who put up 2 WAR last year and they have in arbitration. That's pretty big time. I wonder if they'll retain any of Luis Robert's contract. Yeah, no, we're right on the edge. That makes sense. All right, let's go ahead and complete that trade. It hurts to lose Abreu, but we love to get Luis Robert. I think that strengthens us significantly, even though it kind of weakens our depth, which is not ideal. So that's maybe something that we'll need to look into. But let's go ahead and move them onto our roster. And now, if we take a look at what our manager would want, Zardo, Sandoval, Peralta. That's not the order I would go in, but whatever. Brian Bello and Tanner Houck. So maybe we want like one additional starter. Maybe we'll see. But a back end guy to just bump Houck into the bullpen and be sort of our swing man. We obviously have a depth problem because we just traded it away essentially. But as far as a top line goes, Jaron Duran, Luis Robert, Masataka Yoshida with Sedana Rafaela feels pretty good as a backup. And then to go Devers, Mayer, Story, Casas, McGuire. Story and McGuire I don't expect to be good. The DH slot is open. That's probably where Yoshida will move when Roman Anthony comes up. Definitely an argument to be made that instead of Robert, potentially a more impactful player might have been Soto, and he would have just cost us money. But I'm not sure. We don't have a lot of money to work with anymore. I am going to try and work on that by, if we take a look at our salaries, there are some pretty obvious guys that you might want to get rid of. Lucas Giolito, Trevor Story. I kind of regret giving Kenley Jansen the QO now. Masataka Yoshida, I'd love to see gone. If we get those 3 guys off the payroll, we suddenly look amazing. Overall, though, I think those are really productive trades. As far as the rest of free agency, we are going to have to deal with that in the next episode. So we'll get back to offseason part 2. Overall, a really promising start to the offseason. And I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle through trade negotiations and try to get the best deal for your Boston Red Sox. We'll be back with episode 2, or part 2 rather, of this offseason series. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.